What is up? Welcome to the unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number 93, and I am Adam Choit. Hope everyone out there can hear me. If they're watching on YouTube on the live stream right now, I appreciate that. Um, it's Tedeschi Trucks podcast on Instagram. That's the handle. If you'd like to follow that, I appreciate the support. Tedeschi Trucks podcast on YouTube. Rather, you're already there. If you're watching right now, please subscribe to the show on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. That is greatly appreciated too. There will be an audio episode coming out of this one as well. I'll try to get that out in the next day or so. Before I get into TTB at the Beacon stuff, I wanted to actually mention that I am a filmmaker and I am premiering a short film on YouTube actually tomorrow, which is October 14th. It is called The Edited, and it's going to be also embedded on the movie's official website, theeditedmovie.com. You guys definitely should check that out if you want to see me in a whole nother world in which I work as well. Theeditedmovie.com. I'll just quickly tell you about the story taking place in the near future. The Edited, which is a dystopian psychological satire. Takes place in the near future, and it's about an earnest misfit girl who enters a new high school in a new part of the country. She finds it's a strange school where they literally edit history, literature, science. They teach that Big Brother is the hero of 1984. They teach that it's the Declaration of dependence on the powers that be in this dystopian society, of course. And we wonder, will this new pupil fight for truth, or will she fall victim to this cult-like environment? Theeditedmovie.com. It's dropping tomorrow during the day. Definitely check that out. I appreciate the support on that front as well. I'm probably just going to rant and rave and go on tangents about my whole Beacon experience. I have some notes. I don't know how long I'm going to go for today. I see we have some lurkers in the YouTube. That's cool. I like that. I'll figure out just kind of like tell the summary of like my whole story, not story, but my experience, the story of my experience, a summary of my experience, a recap, I guess is the word I used in the title of the show there. But I went to the final 5 of the 7 Beacon Theater shows that the band just had. Can you see the cup behind me? Is the cup not in the shot? Where's the cup? Oh, there it is. You can see it right here. I'm going to point with my mouse, but you also can't see. But was it the? I actually pulled up the set list here. I'm ready. I'm ready for you guys here. But yeah, 29th, 30th, and then October 1, 3, and then what was it, 6, 7, 8, I want to say, were the 7 shows. I'm not going to go through every song on every set list. I might just, talk about some things that jumped out at me. Everything was excellent, but maybe some things did jump out at me and are more at the forefront of my memory than other items. But I arrived on the 29th, flying in from Los Angeles. I got in pretty much right as probably the show was beginning. 5 of 7 is enough for me this year. Maybe next year all 7. More to come on that. But flying in on the 29th. It was actually my dad's birthday on the 30th, so I did not go to that show as well. But it was great to spend his birthday with him and with family. And of course, my dad, I feel somewhat comfortable talking about him on the podcast because he was, of course, a past guest, episode 70, talking really all about his experience being a teenager, a young adult, going to the Fillmore East and seeing the Allman Brothers and being there for live at Fillmore East recording and seeing Jimi Hendrix and just legend after legend. Like he's the Fillmore East guy, or one of the Fillmore East guys, if you want to talk Fillmore East shows and history of Fillmore East. My dad, David, is definitely a great source for that. And he and my brother-in-law and my sister were at the final show of the Beacon Theater residency. The final night, October 8th. So that was cool to have family there for that one. But the other ones I went solo for. But at this point, there is no such thing as me going to a Tedeschi Trucks Band's show solo, basically because of the Swamp family and just connecting with so many people has been super duper fun, and just another layer that makes the whole concert experience and the whole TTB fandom experience that much more meaningful, full of depth, and just fun. Like just connecting with this whole like subculture of people. And like obviously with any subculture or any community, you're going to get a few weirdos and bad apples, but overwhelmingly everyone who loves this band is super duper awesome, like, and been super duper great to interact with in the last couple of years of doing this podcast and being a fan of this band for, almost since their inception. Like everyone who I've come across for the most part has been so cool. And that really all stems really from, I think, Susan and Derek, in my opinion. They set the tone of being these down to earth people. And I talk about this pretty much every episode, and there's going to be more and more, I'm sure, in this episode about that. But they set the tone. That the tone is set from above and from the leaders and of the band, or really any organization. And with them being cool, personable, down to earth people, that seems to permeate throughout the fans, like overwhelmingly. There's exceptions to all these things, of course. I'm gonna jump around a little bit, but it was fun to record the previous episode 92 with Bob Beatty and Alan Paul, do the in-person thing. And I sincerely apologize to them, to Alan, to Bob, for messing up the audio recording. And basically what we ended up with is using microphones as props. We looked okay, all things considered, on my elderly laptop, but the mics were connected to my new Rodecaster audio interface mixer, but the setting in the StreamYard, I'm guessing, which I use to upload these and then stream on YouTube, was not set to those microphones, obviously, and was set to the computer microphone, the default computer microphone. So hence the echoey sound. But you could hear what we're saying, and the conversation was great. And I do appreciate their time and people's generally positive reception about that. But I wanted to be forthright about that and just let you guys know that I want that I'm going to continue to do my best to bring you the highest quality show I can, but there will be speed bumps or bumps along the way for sure. But that was fun, and I hope to do more of that. And I'm going to continue to dig more into hopefully doing some more in-person stuff would be cool as well. I just want to continue to grow this show, and like I keep saying, I feel like I'm just kind of getting started. I'm going to get a quieter mouse one of these days as well. That's also on my to-do list. What else do we need to cover? I just I guess even before I get into the music, just some people I just want to thank for their time, for their generosity, for just being cool fans, just for interacting, getting the chance to interact with them. But like Keith Sharp and Riverside Kate, like, you guys are so generous with your time and beyond with me. I really appreciate that. David Flam and Ann, it was great to see you guys for sure. Lori Lane, Kathleen, who's been to all 53 Beacon shows, which is incredible. And it was really cool to meet this couple, John and June, who've been following Derek and Susan for ever, I think. And Martin, the dude working the Beacon door there for the venue itself, he was super cool and had tons of stories. And I appreciate him giving me the time of day. And same thing with Bobby Tees, who's just so generous with his time with the fans, and really anyone who wants to talk music with him. He's super cool too. Where should we go from here? Where should I go? Should I dive into the set lists and the music? I can do that. I mean, I can get more into to my overall New York City experience, and it's not so much that the price of the tickets, or even so much the price of like the Airbnbs that I was lucky enough to land during during the nights there were shows. It's the food. It's the food and the drinks, and just like the Ubers getting around the city and around a little bit. Like it does all add up. But it was a super amazing trip, and I'm not complaining. But I ate too much and spent too much money. But I suppose I'm not the only one, and that's kind of what I dedicate my entertainment budget to. To be honest with you, is largely going to TTB shows and all the associated arrangements that make for a better experience for me personally. Is where the money goes to, and it's not without a part of that, at least in my mind, being an investment in this show and just trying to get out there and spread the word about what I'm working on here, and that is just promoting TTB as much as I can and trying to do something that's at least in the same spirit and tone of what their brand is as creators. What else? Where do we start? Where do we start with the music? I mean, I'm looking at the set list from the first night. Somehow None Above, Yes There Will, Gravity, Emmeline, Take Me As I Am, which is what? That's the third album, The Fall Tedeschi. They did play the first 4 albums at the first 4 Beacon shows, but not in the order yet. That's 3, The Fall. And then the second night they played. See, I'm going to jump around because I'm not going to go through this entire set list in order or go through every song. That's hard. That will be hard to do. And then the second night they did 4, the fourth installment, which was I'm losing my mind. Crescent was 1. Farewell, of course, was 4th. So they did that. They did that night too. Where is the images that I just had up? Did I lose them? The struggle is real over here. And then what do we got? Night 3, they did the first album, Crescent. They didn't do these all in order though. Let's see here, and then the 30th, the first, and then the third. They did Saturday, the October 1st, they did the second one, of course, Ascension, and then the last night they did Crescent. They didn't do them all to start the show, or did they? They did start their shows with the new music. Rainy Day, I believe, was that a first time, and Hold That Line, I think maybe been first or second time, but either way, like, we haven't heard those ones too often during the these new shows, during these recent shows on the road. I'm just so blown away by all this music and just like drenched in all the new stuff and the I'm the Moon stuff, and all the fans love it, and you could tell like at these shows that they are they feel like songs, and I keep describing it in this way, as songs that we've been like listening to for years and kind of like know fairly well or really well. And that makes it that much more special. And I know Derek said on an interview that it's cool to see fans out there singing along and like knowing new songs. And you don't really get that experience, or one might not always get that experience with other bands, and even bands might not have that experience with the most dedicated of fan bases. There's not skeptics, but there's those who don't immediately love all the new music that a band may put out, like, or may not even like it, and ultimately that at all per se, but or it could take time to grow on a fan when a band puts out new music. But with this band, we love this stuff all the time, and as the band has talked about, and Derek and Susan, that like the manner in which they released this music is just so conducive to having a listening experience that um is ideal, perhaps, I suppose, in a way that just like the music just grows on you fast, I should say. What's up, David Flam, in the chat there? Yes, we will is pure fire. Yes, it is. Yeah, no, that's it sounds like a buddy guy kind of real bluesy style to it, and very current as well. As all, all the TTB songs, like they're current, but they're also timeless. And I mean that in the lyrics and also in this style. And I forget who I should give credit to someone who posted an extended rant, or not even a rant, maybe that's not the right word, in one of the Tedeschi Trucks Band fan groups on Facebook, but basically saying like, or talking about the evolution of this band, how like I still describe them like to someone who I'm trying to explain what TTB is about. I'll say they're a blues rock soul powerhouse 12-piece band, and then like go into each section or whatever. But they're becoming more than a blues rock soul band, and in some ways, like well, they've always been not really confined to any specific genres, but they're almost becoming genreless in some ways. I feel like, and Mike, I think, is a big part of that. Mike Madison, with his songwriting style and being the originator of the idea for this whole concept album, I think is definitely a source of that creative limitless that TTB seems to possess, and it's been a joy to just go along for the ride as they evolve. And the Beacon shows were just really, I feel like, a celebration in many ways of the I Am the Moon albums and the release and the videos and everything that's gone along with this new music that we've been lucky enough to receive. There weren't a lot of guests or other than really the opening acts, which were very solid as well and great to see over the course of these shows. It was really just primarily about, in my opinion, just celebrating like this newest lineup of TTB, which seems to be very much set in stone for the foreseeable future. They seem locked in, really, the band musically, in terms of the chemistry as well with one another. It just seems like this is they don't seem like they're in any sort of transition phase of the band, and there was a lot of that, and that not of that happening, or not a lot, but there's been a bit of transition, obviously, over the past few years, or with TTB's lineups. But now I feel like we're locked in, and the band is locked in more ways than one, both with the lineup and with just like their tight ass amazing playing. I'm staring at the set list from maybe I could share the set list. Let's do that. Let's see if I could do that. That'll be fun. I'm gonna try to do it fast so I don't have to edit the audio version of this episode. Let's see. Present. Share screen. Share screen. I want to share a window. I want to share. I think it's this. Yeah. You guys see that? Look at that. Hell yeah. That's cool. For those who are only listening and that description is not helpful to, I'm looking at the 29th set list. Somehow None Above, Yes Who Will, Gravity, Emmeline, Take Me As I Am, Les Brers, Bell Bottom Blues, Pardon Me, Gilded Splinters, Do I Look Worried, It's So Heavy, Let Me Get By, Made Up Mind, and Let's Go Get Stoned. And of course, I was not at this show, but I did listen to Ed Gendelman's recordings, and thank you to him. Damn, I mean, I have notes, so I wasn't going to forget Ed Gendelman. But for the recordings, for the time, for the generosity, that dude is a hero, and I mean that, like, for sharing all the TTB content, the music, and the and the videos and all that, and Sean Roach as well. Just to hang with these guys was super cool. Obviously, I don't see a ton of you guys in person. There's a few fans that I've become friendly with on the West Coast, but uh, beyond that, it was just super cool to hang with those guys. So I was able to listen to the first two shows before even the third one. They took the stage for the third one. David Flam is telling me that they added Leaving Trunk, added as a first encore to replace Let's Go Get Stoned. I actually copied and pasted these set lists from. You can see if you're watching from TTV's Instagram stories highlights. I do remember that Leaving Trunk that you're referring to, because Elizabeth did just a ridiculous solo on that song, towards the middle end of it, and she was just fantastic and had a couple of real standout moments where she had just on fire solos. And I asked her, a couple of people asked her about this, like, because I think I asked her about this, and then someone else, I had the same conversation with them. They're like, yeah, I asked her. She doesn't remember any of her. I think it was Ed, actually, Ed Gendelman mentioned it. She's like, yeah, she doesn't remember any of her solos, or, think about them. To them, this is like walking, breathing, eating, and not that they don't enjoy playing, of course, but like, to us, maybe like we all have like these versions of songs and moments of songs that we feel like maybe stand out to us more than others, but to them it's just like another day at the office, so to speak. David's telling me that they added in Leaving Trunk. It wasn't replacing Let's Go Get Stoned. I'll jump around, but what do we got here? Night 2, September 30th. Yeah, I listened to this whole show and just like hearing Stand Back. I'll read it for the people listening. Last night, Soul Sweet Song to Gary. Where my friends, I can feel you smiling. Another day, was that Another Day in the Rain? Outside Woman Blues. Another Night in the Rain. What was Another Day? Oh, Another Day is from the final song of the final album. I'm losing my mind. Sometimes I think the band is abbreviating when they're not even abbreviating on their set lists. What did I just do? Did I just zoom in? Who knows what I just did? I went back to the first one. Where my friend, now to move Until You Remember, Idle Wind. That was the first set, and the second set, Stand Back, I Want More, Gin House Blues, Just Won't Burn, Misunderstood, Shame, Keep On Growing, I Wish I Knew How to Be Free, and Get What You Deserve. I mean, just every night is just, I don't know. Like, I keep saying that they could pick these songs out of a hat. It was cool to hear Stand Back for sure. And I figured there would be some or a good amount of Allman Brothers influence and presence in these shows. Obviously, the Beacon goes back in terms of the tradition to the Allman Brothers playing there for many, many years before. And I know Stand Back was a song that TTB hasn't done too much recently over the recent years, but going back into some of their archive.org archives, you can find them doing it in 2011, 2012, or around then. This time it had a little bit more Gabe on vocals, which is always great as well. I'm a fan when you got they do everything. They trade verses, they trade lines, they trade solos, they trade being lead on songs entirely. I'm told Keep On Growing was not played this night. I have the set list, but not the corrected version. Some of these are corrected. You'll see later on, but Keith Sharp is saying that the version of Until You Remember blew him away. That's always like a showstopper. Just like, I don't know. It's great, and they play it, I feel like, just the right amount. I don't think you can do Until You Remember every night. That would be. But other bands play the same songs over and over again, and this band is an anomaly in a lot of ways, because the diverse set list, and us getting, I think we only had 2 or 3 repeats throughout the entire 7 shows. We had a couple of Midnight in Harlems. What did we have? A couple of sweet soul singing, soul sweet singing, soul sweet song. Oh man, I'm gonna fire myself as it's actually right in front of me on the screen, and you guys could see that too. So I'm busted, or at least I have no excuse for messing up that title. I should just anyway. I Want More. Was that the version that did they do I Want More a couple of times? That's always awesome to hear, and I like how they're kind of playing that one a little bit more like the record. And I don't know if it was this version. Did they play? I should jump around here see if they played I Want More twice. I'm curious. Maybe I'm tripping over here. Oh, I Want More. They did on the Friday. Yeah. No, that's cool. And I think I heard like because there's flute on that. Isn't there flute on I Want More on the outro? Kofi's flute. And I thought I heard Derek kind of like playing the Kofi part on flute, but maybe I'm imagining things, or maybe I'm confusing I Want More outro with the Crying Over You um outro part, which was not played on this tour or on this at this residency. I'm not sure where to go from here, but I'll just get back into the set lists, I guess. Let's see what we got here. What was the next? Well, October 1st, that was the 50th show, right? Does it say it on here? 50th. Uh, no, this wasn't it? Or no, the Monday was the 50th show, I think, right? Yeah, 50th. There you go. We're gonna get to that one. TTB's 50th Beacon show. This was great as well, where they did the Ascension songs, playing the second album on I'm the Moon, playing with my emotions, ain't that something, all the love, so long, savior, rainy day, which I think I was saying, as I was saying before, I think that was the first time they had done that one live. I could be mistaken about that. But yeah, what a smooth groove that is. Loving You is Sweeter Than Ever, and Hold That Line. I was streaming a little bit from my my Instagram account, at Tedeschi Trucks Band Instagram account, a bunch of songs throughout all the shows that I was at, and I'm like I was typing into the phone. Okay, we're gonna have a moment now as they were going into Hold That Line again, just like another like showstopper song, and just what artistry that goes into the creation of these set lists themselves. Like so much thought goes into that. Like I mean, I guess I that can be fun, but maybe also annoying. They have to do it over and over again and put so much and they put so much thought. And what did we play last year? What did we play last night? How, what's the average amount of shows people are going to so they don't get the same things, and no, just Derek and everyone else who has their 2 cents put into this. I appreciate that. The set list creation for sure. A Hard Case, hadn't heard that too much lately. Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad? That's always just spectacular. Smoke Ring, Halo, How Blue Can You Get? The Letter, Anyhow. Brandon had an awesome solo on Anyhow. I don't know if we've heard that too much before. I mentioned some of this stuff on because I did some live streams on just the Instagram, just ranting about on the street or whatever, just catching up during the week. But Brandon had an awesome solo on Anyhow, and I don't know if we've heard a bass solo on that song previously, but that was just on fire. And I was talking about previously how I don't know if that was like in rehearsals decided, or like or in this case he just kind of stepped up and just took the bull by the horns and did his thing right then and there. I'm sure there's some improv in that regard with this band. I'm sure other people can probably have better insight than I do for that. But Midnight in Harlem came after, or we had Anyhow, then The Letter, and then Midnight. If what we're looking at is accurate, Key to the Highway, Bound for Glory, Tell the Truth was the encore. In set 2, just just awesome from start to finish. The whiskey leg stuff with Susan and Derek going back and forth. This is just always just on fire and spectacular. And I keep talking endlessly about how, Derek could be uh, a challenge, I would guess, in some regard for other guitar players to play with, because he's amazing, an amazing virtuoso, and keep up isn't the right phrase, but it can be a challenge to hold her own, and Susan does more than that. And they have just amazing chemistry when they're playing guitars, especially, or as well, I should say, in addition to when she's singing her voice and his guitar. Just their guitars together are just, there's a lot of synergy between them, and they're communicating with each other, and that's just awesome, in ways that words cannot, but music can do, and can serve us as humans in terms of communicating feelings and emotions, and artistry, or through artistry. Monday was the 50th show. Don't Let Me Slide. It took me a second to figure out. I'm looking at it. It just says Don't Let Me. I'm like, what was the first song? Don't Let Me. Don't Let Me Slide. All That I Need. Laugh About It. And Signs. And then Here, My Dear. And I don't know if you guys found the pattern in that, and assuming that I found the correct pattern in that, those first 4 songs from the 50th show, and really the first 5, fits the pattern in a sense that Don't Let Me Slide was from Revelator. All That I Need is from Made Up Mind. Laugh About It is from Let Me Get By. Laugh About It is from Let Me Get By. And Signs is from Signs. And Here, My Dear, the 5th song, was from I Am the Moon, their 5th album. So that was, first 5 songs were from their first 5 albums. And that was definitely done on purpose. That would be quite shocking if that was not done on purpose. And then, of course, they went into the Crescent album from start to finish. Passaquan, people love Passaquan, and I'm gonna eventually probably have some sort of podcast episode just entirely dedicated to Passaquan, the song, the history, the writing, the different versions, just anything and all things Passaquan. Just like once the fans start to recognize that that's what the band is going into, and I guess we kind of expected it when everyone realized that we're hearing Crescent start to finish. But like, yeah, it starts to get applause. Like people are like, "Thank you for playing this." Then we got Turtle Blues and Don't Think Twice with Jorma and Jack joining the band. They did a great job opening the 50th show, starting things off for TTB that night. And it never gets old, Susan thinking Don't Think Twice. I wonder if it ever gets old for her. Probably not. Like just she's played the song a million times and played the songs a million times for a million people. But I think once you hear she feels that crowd engagement, and plus this being the 50th show and with Jorma and Jack, I think that it does not get old for Susan, and she and TTB and are obviously huge fans of Bob Dylan. That's a good stutter right there. Then we got Made Up Mind, Keep on Growing, The Storm, which is just spectacular to hear live. They did a whipping post, I think, with The Storm. Was that this night, or am I losing it? I thought we had a whipping post part on The Storm. And then the encore. This was a great encore, because we got 3 songs. That is not necessarily common with TTB. Sometimes just one song, one longer song, or sometimes a shorter song and a longer song. But we had Another Day and Soul Sweet Song, and Space Captain. Confirmed whipping post was played along with The Storm, and the fans go crazy for that. It's a special, like, I could say that about every song. As soon as we recognize what's being played, like it gets cheers, because it's kind of like that anticipation. It's a cool thing when like when Derek does an intro, or there's some sort of partial sound, or a sound coming from only part of the band in between songs or something like that, where you don't know exactly what's going to be played next. So you're playing a game almost with yourself. Let me see how fast can I recognize what's coming up, and that's fun game. I will not stop. If not yelling out loud, just like mentioning out loud. It's important that others around me know how fast I recognize songs. I think that's something that a game that a lot of TTB fans play, so to speak. Just another amazing show. They gave out pins. I got a couple of them afterwards, or I got an extra one afterwards. I gave one to my mom, so she has one of the pins. Where is my pin? I think, did I put it on the shelf? It's somewhere. But yeah, that was a special night, and just leaning. They're just leaning into the really. I mean, we had some covers, but really leaning into their own catalog, and it really being a celebration of the TTB experience and their evolution as a band. And that's definitely accentuated, if that's the right word, by the set list choice for this 50th show, with starting off with songs from their first 5 albums. Like that's special. I wonder what they really thought about that. They're probably not having any deep, profound thoughts while they're on stage. They're probably just doing their thing, having fun, and trying to play the right notes and do what they do. But ultimately, I'm sure there's some reflection that goes on with the band members when they think about the choices for the 50th show, which was Monday, October 3rd. That was the fourth show of the run. And then Thursday we got here. I'm looking at the set list. Don't Drift Away. Last Night in the Rain. Ain't That Something? I'm the Moon. Part of Me, Looking for Answers, Done Somebody Wrong, Joyful Noise, Passaquan, Life is Crazy, Learn How to Love, Take Me As I Am, Any Day That Did It, and Show Me. So going into Thursday's show, I was kind of talking to some fans beforehand, and we really had no idea what was going to be played for the rest of the weekend. Is kind of the vibe that I got, because they kind of covered everything with their with the new I Am the Moon stuff in the first 4 shows. So kind of all bets were off, or all bets are on for the next 3 evenings, in terms of what the band decided to play. We figured we'd get another Midnight in Harlem. Going to get at least 2 of those. Figured another Passaquan or 2 is coming, but beyond that, I don't know if we really expected any more repeats with certainty. But this was just a great set list. Don't Drift Away is an interesting song to start a show with, because you're kind of like, it kind of eases the crowd into the music, but eventually, like, obviously Derek, it builds up to just an electric, Derek solo outro slide guitar on Don't Drift Away. And maybe in some sense, it wasn't just that the band is easing their way into the Thursday night, October 6th show, but really easing us into the weekend, because with the show Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just 3 nights, 3 shows, that's a lot of music in a short time. So the band might not want to come out that Thursday, the first night of 3, with something just like, I don't know, too heavy, or too much rock and roll, so to speak. But this is just a spectacular set list. Take Me As I Am is definitely another moment, and I'm a fan of that one. And I've started to maybe pick it apart a little bit, and try to learn the chords, and strum that one, and whatnot on my own as well. But it sounds like a Mad Dogs and Englishmen song to me. It sounds like something that should come out of that tour, and I can almost like hear the Joe Cocker vocals on that song. Can a band from 1970 cover a song that, like, I need some kind of like weird like time machine where I can, like, I don't know, I have a lot of creative ideas for other artists that may not even be alive right now to cover. But anyway, um, Joyful Noise is cool to hear. Always fun to bring back. Derek Trucks band stuff. I don't know where to go with this. Just any day. I think we had. Did we get some Blue Sky teases in there? I think we did. Show Me is always fun. Derek pointing at all the horns and getting everyone involved there. We had 2 sets on Friday. Here, My Dear, Gravity, Do I Look Worried, All the Love, Emmeline, Feeling Music Brings, Don't Keep Me Wondering, Les Breers, I Can't Make You Love Me, So Long Savior, Darling Be Home, Playing With My Emotions, which was Flip with Darling Be, Home Soon. Everybody's Got To, what's the rest part? That's the Taj Mahal song. Bell Bottom Blues, Why Does Love Gotta Be So Sad, Right on Time, Made Up Mind, Just Won't Burn, I Want More. Into Soul Sacrifice, Soul Sweet Song, Let's Go Get Stoned. That was just a great set list as well. Gravity is such a cool song to hear live. The stuff that Derek does on guitar on the outro is just ridiculous, and I'll never stop talking about that. The sounds that dude makes. Such a cool track. Gabe does amazing work on that. Hear My Dear is almost like comfort food. Like it's just kind of like, okay, it like not settles me down, but like it just seems like such a quintessential TTB song. Maybe it's a song more than maybe because it first came out or we first heard it on the Fireside sessions that it's just like maybe the song that I associate most with the I Am the Moon project. Maybe even more so than I Am the Moon song itself, the title track. I'm jumping ahead here. Soul Sacrifice is great. The drums get going on that one for sure. I don't know. I mean, I just unconditionally love all this music, and I don't even know what to say about it at this point. I should have pulled up the thesaurus. Feeling Music Brings, they just slap into the middle of like their first set of 2 on a Friday night show, and that's a song that they've closed shows with. I think that I mean I've talked about this endlessly as well. Just the fact that like just looking at the set list, you could close shows with like Gravity was the second song of the night. They could close the show with that. They could close the show with Don't Keep Me Wondering or Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad. They could. I mean, it's just ridiculous what this band is capable of, and just like every song is a moment, so to speak. But obviously, I think you guys kind of know what I'm getting at when I describe like Hold That Line as a moment or Take Me As I Am. Just like these kind of more emotional, really heartfelt songs. I would say those are. Then the final night of the run, 7 of 7. We got Shame, Where My Friends, Somehow, DeGarry, Yes We Will, Stand Back, Circles Round the Sun, and then Passaquan, Joni Mitchell's River. I Can Feel You Smiling in the second set with Derek on acoustic. High and Mighty. I think that's the only High and Mighty we got on this on this run. So much so not so much so, but they hadn't played that one in a while. So I actually like it took me a second, like, what song is this that they're playing around? Like, I know this one, but like the title had actually slipped my mind. Also, that's probably like several drinks in. We're talking the beginning of the second set, so I'll give myself a little break here. What is Keith Sharp asking me about in the chat? Couple of observations. What song did Kevin and Isaac jam on? That was repeated. I don't remember off the top of my head, but like there's definitely a bunch of really great Kebby moments for sure. Both in the avant-garde variety and of the not avant-garde variety. Like that guy definitely keeps the crowds and Derek and the rest of the band, I think, on our toes and their toes. And it's funny because like, not everyone fully digs, I suppose, even TTB fans fully dig all the some of the avant-garde Kebby stuff, but everyone's prepared for it. No one is surprised, and no one seemed I don't know, just the way the crowd reacted when Kebby was doing his Kebby thing. We were all kind of along for the ride, which is what you should be, what we should be as music fans, certainly. Which song was Derek and Gabe nerd out? I don't know. No, I'm not sure. Probably Passaquan. There's a lot of great Gabe 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 Derek moments and Gabe moments throughout these shows, and just his presence has just become such a staple of this band. He is Tedeschi Truck's band too, as much as like everyone else in the band, even though he hasn't been there quite as long. And to follow Kofi is an impossible thing to do, but he brings his own thing to the band, and like I said, we're in an era that we're lucky to be in a part of as fans with this current lineup, which seems like something that's going to be locked in for the foreseeable future. I Am the Moon came after High and Mighty, then Had to Cry Tonight, Midnight in Harlem, the second one of this residency, the Speaking Theater residency. It's funny because like I was talking to my dad about the set list, and I was like, "Oh yeah, they'll probably play Midnight in Harlem a second time, sometime in these last 3 shows or whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, they have to play it." And I'm just thinking like because it's their sort of I use the word quintessential already, but their signature song in many ways. But my dad's like, we're in New York City, Harlem is right here. I'm like, oh yeah, that too. So that made me laugh. That there's another reason to play Midnight at the Beacon. The Beacon shows as if we needed another one, but yeah, the fans always love that. The newbies and the long timers as well. Gilded Splinters, that gets everyone going. Outside Woman Blues, it's great guitar work from Susan, Derek, and Angel from Montgomery. And then they went into Sign of the Times, the Harry Styles cover, which no one expected. I don't even know how many people knew that they were going to do that. To be forthright, I did not even know what song that was. I had a feeling it was a cover, and I sort of recognized it, but that was just jaw-dropping, like vocal performance by Susan Tedeschi on Sign of the Times. I don't even know what to say about it. Like that needs to go more viral. I know the band put out a video version of that on their YouTube channel, which is totally worth checking out, as is all of Ed Gendelman's recordings on archive.org. His videos on YouTube, Ed Tyre, Tyre. Pretty easy to find his stuff, and Sean Roach's videos as well. Just great content from those dudes. I totally appreciate the effort that they put into recording the stuff and putting it online and uploading it, because that takes time and effort and means everything to me. And I'm hoping for more recordings coming from Europe coming up soon. I was told there might be some tapers out there who are going to get a decent chunk of the music coming up from the band's European tour. But yeah, Sign of the Times, just spectacular. Wow, I don't even know. If you haven't listened to that. I'm sure if you were listening to this podcast, you probably have heard Susan sing that song, but keep listening to it because it's just super powerful. And then did she really follow that with I Pity the Fool? If I recall correctly, just another just powerful moments for Susan, from Angel, from Montgomery, Sign of the Times, I Pity the Fool. Just like really showcasing Susan's just powerhouse abilities with that part of the set list on the final night for sure. I guess I'm just so in the moment sometimes at these shows. I don't think in terms of necessarily set list analysis in the moment, but that was definitely very Susan centric stuff going on right there. And then we got Fire and Rain for the encore. A great Mark moment as well. My sister said she likes TTB's version more than James Taylor. Of course, I do as well. I'm biased, for sure. But nevertheless, really soulful performance. That's the song that has really grown on me more and more just that version that TTB does, especially. And they finished with the letter, which I don't think they've really done too much, but that worked very, very well. I had no problem with that. I was thinking maybe we'd get a um with a little help from my friends. That's how they finished the Beacon run last year. But this year the letter, super cool. Super cool stuff all around. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right. Oh, there we go. That's just me. What else we got in my notes here? Anything else I need to mention? Just everyone was just so nice to me who I saw and encountered, from the few moments saying hello to some of the band members outside the stage door. I hope I wasn't too much of a bother. I don't really ask for much other than wanting to book all 12 members of the band on this podcast at some point. They know that I'm working on it, and I appreciate, I appreciate them. And I really, I'm just here for the music, really more than anything. I didn't really ask for any pictures or autographs or, I just want to hang out really more than anything. I just want to hang out and I want to listen to the music and I want to continue to put out content that promotes this band and have cool conversations and have fun rants like this. Thank you, Renee on Tour PR and Wayne for talking to me a little bit and spending some time, and it was cool to meet up with them, and just saying hello to other crew and anyone associated with the band was just super nice. I ate too much Playa Betty, too much late night pizza. Amsterdam Ale House was good. What did I get there? I got a I forgot. I don't even remember what I got, but the food was good. The Airbnbs worked out good. Staying on Long Island, the trains. I got to where I needed to get to. I'm not sure what else I need to cover from the Beacon experience. I'm sure I'm missing other people that I should mention. That's a certainty. But thank you to TTB. Thank you to the crew. Thank you to fans and family and friends. Just everyone was amazing. Like we'll see next year. Maybe all 7. I'll figure out what is the most cost effective way to go about doing that, but we'll see. And maybe more content coming from the Beacon next year as well. I did post a bunch of stuff on Instagram, of course, kind of blog almost like a stories blogging my experience, and I did some of the live stream stuff at the shows and in between the shows, but maybe more formal podcast episodes themselves I'll do next year or at show or whatever I go to. My next show, as of now, I have nothing on the schedule for 2023. I'm gonna get some guests on this podcast very soon. We are going to be doing some Boston recaps. We are going to be recapping the Europe shows before that. I think that's pretty much all I got, though, for this episode. To follow this podcast, it's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram, Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on YouTube. If you're watching, you're there already. Please subscribe, share the show, give the episodes likes. Review it on Apple Podcasts, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, however you listen. That's totally appreciated. I'm at Adam Choid on Twitter and Instagram. I have that short film coming out tomorrow, October 14th. Check out theeditedmovie.com or Adam Choid, my personal YouTube page as well. That's exciting. That's going to be a lot of fun to share with the world. Thank you, Alan Paul. Thank you, Bob Beatty, for your patience with me. You guys are great. You're such Allman Brothers nerds. I love being a fly on the wall in a sense for those conversations. I could listen to them all day. I really enjoy just listening to people. It kind of takes the not pressure, but it takes not workload. That's not the right term either. But I really enjoy being the fly on the wall and or so to speak, and just like listening to Bob Beatty and Alan Paul just dive deep into the weeds and into really all things Allman Brothers, or even being at the Big House Museum back in uh, July with my dad and John Linsky, who I'm trying to get on this show as well to talk ABB and the museum. But like those two, my dad and John, would get into some good conversations about Allman Brothers items that I don't know about, that only they would, from being around, or for more of the Allman history than I've been. It's just cool for me to just listen. I like listening to podcasts, so whenever I hear these conversations about TTB, about ABB, like I feel like I'm listening to a podcast in a lot of ways, and that's super fun for me. I was able to stand for most of these shows. That's cool. And the final night, I was in the upper balcony with family, and this is probably my only complaint of the entire Beacon experience, is that Dolan would not let me stand sort of in the ramp or in front of the sections. They kind of were chasing me away. But that aside, amazing experience. And perhaps I was, maybe it was best for me to sit for some of the final night next to my father, making the show that much more special. But beyond that, I probably needed to calm down. It'd been a long week. I was from walking around the city, standing at the shows. I went to a couple of gyms also, by the way. You guys should know that I got I got free trial day passes at several gyms. I was hopping from like one gym to the next, like during the day. This is a whole philosophy and setup I had going on. But that aside, thank you for tuning into this episode. I did not mean to go for 56 minutes and 56 seconds and beyond with this. But yeah, please follow me, follow the podcast on social media, and however you listen and watch and consume podcasts. That's helpful, appreciated. TedeschiTrucksBand.com, that's their official website. But yeah, thank you for everything, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, David. Thank you, Keith, for hanging out. Thank you to the lurkers. Thank you for people who are going to listen and watch this episode at a future date and time. But yeah, I think that's about all I got. I appreciate it. Talk soon. Later.